What brings you out here today?
Because I'm very disgusted with the present president and everything about him. And I have 7 grandchildren and 8 great-grandchildren, and I would like a better world for them. I lived through in Germany through the Hitler years, and I came to this country because not to ever see anything like that, like now. You first tell the people all the good things you will do. I mean, like Adolf Hitler had the Volkswagen, and people all of a sudden could afford a car, and now we are getting lots of promises and have the same dictator in Washington. I mean, it's maybe too harsh, but I feel like that because I'm always upset about it. I mean, Trump would love to be the total influence for the country. What he says is done. That's what he would like. I just never expected this to here, so I can't even really tell you what I expected. I just freedom, and that you can tell what you want and that they listen, which is not the case now. There was no protesting in the Third Reich, so this was new to me, and this to me was America.
I think people have finally decided they cannot sit still any longer and pretend that their government and their lives aren't being shredded. And what's wonderful is it started just a couple of weeks ago, and suddenly it's 500,000 people strong with 1,200 events all over the country. And here in Hanover, I think there's 5 in the Upper Valley. And we know it isn't going to make a difference Sunday. He's not going to decide, oh, okay, you're right, I'm not doing all this stuff. It's going to be a long haul. But we can't not do it. We have to show that we don't like this. This is not for us. This is for somebody else, and we're not going to stand for it. Now, we don't have a lot of power. The only power we have is to show up and to stand. We have to stand up. So I think that's what people are finally figuring out, and we got to do something.
What got you involved specifically with today?
Well, I went to college in the 70s, and I got politicized at the University of Wisconsin. So I've been politically active all my life. And in 21, when they were doing the January 6th report was going to be broadcast, I got wind of it, and I got in touch with a public citizen. I got connected, and they said, would you produce a watch event in Hanover? And my background is producing events. I produced the Proudy for 17 years. So I had just retired, and I went, sure, I can do, what do you want? Okay. And so in a couple of weeks, we put on a watch event at the Hanover Inn with 70 people, and it was highly successful, and I thought it was really important. I thought that was really important, so I was thrilled. So it's 5 years later, and they called. And they said, Jean, do you want to produce another event? I went, what are you talking about? And then they said, no, it's April 5th and blah, blah, blah. And I went, sure, let's do it. Because there wasn't anything in Hanover at the time. There was only Littleton. There was nothing in New Hampshire. And I went, oh, no, we got to get on. Come on. So now there's lots, which I can take no credit for. But so it has been, I care. And if I can do something, then I'm going to do something. Because if the whole thing goes south, which it could, and you have to tell your kids, well, I was depressed. I just, I didn't do anything. How can you live with yourself? You got to do something. So let's do something.
Hey. I'm Sharon Racusin. I've moved to Hanover from Norwich after being in Norwich for almost 40 years, or in Vermont. And I'm a member of Put People First Vermont, the Vermont Workers Center, Jewish Voice for Peace, Vermont, New Hampshire. And I I've got a mission this time around. I'm putting a warrant article on the Hanover town meeting ballot to prevent the Hanover police from becoming ICE agents. And why this is so important and seems improbable is because the state police have signed an agreement. It's called 287G. It allows the police not to do their job and to do the work of ICE. And ICE racially profiles people and scoops them up, as we've seen. And we have just found out that the Grafton County Sheriff signed the agreement without even knowing what she was getting into. When we pressed her at a commissioners meeting, she said she has to wait for the training to find out what they want her sheriff's department to do. So she did this without knowing. Belknap County has done it, and the state police in New Hampshire have signed this agreement, which means that it's incumbent upon us in Hanover to tell our Hanover police and our select board not to do this. And the warrant article is going to be on there's a select board meeting this Monday, April 7th. And then there should be a warrant number, an article number. And then we want everyone to come out and vote and stay late at the May 13th town meeting in Hanover. That's it. And it's really important. Given that I'm a member of Jewish Voice for Peace, and Jewish Voice for Peace and our name as Jews has been used to conflate the love of Israel with the Jewish religion is really ridiculous. And we're fighting that all the way. Every day we are trying to educate people that anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism are not the same thing. Anti-Zionism says we don't want the state of Israel to be the supreme power, and that they should stop bombing Gazans and women and children in Gaza and taking over the West Bank occupied territories. It is not our right as people to take over another people, and we're destroying we're ethnically cleansing Gaza, and it should not be done in the Jewish name, and we resent that completely. And so ICE plays a huge part in this. ICE is picking up people because they stood on the sidewalk in Columbia University and signed a petition as a pro-Palestinian, pro-humanitarian person, a human being, saying, I support humanitarian aid and not to ethnically cleanse. So ICE is part of that whole game. And it was during Trump, during Obama, and it doesn't matter which party, they're all the same, they're all doing, the dirty work, and we want it to stop.
I've been protesting since the late 60s with part of SDS, but I kind of went on a hiatus for a while, having babies and marrying and being a wife and all. So, no, this is my first time on this protesting here, and we're going to be protesting a lot. When we fight, we win, and we need to fight.
Do you remember your first protest?
Yeah, it's probably outside Parkhurst Hall back in 69. In the old days, and I remember after that we had body bags in front of Hopkins Center, and to represent the deaths of all the soldiers in the war in Vietnam. And yeah.
Is this your first protest?
Oh, hell no. Jesus, we've been doing this since the 60s.
What would you like to see for the future of this country?
Oh, what would I like to see for the future of this country? Well, I would like to see it run by using the Constitution instead of political expedience and capitalist greed, which I think is what's running it now for sure. But, it's been that way for a long time. So I'd like to see a country that's run according to the Constitution, according to democratic principles.
you think that there has been a time in America where things have run well or run in a way that you like?
Probably the closest, and I don't know because I was so young, but in the 50s, right after World War II, so there's about 20 years, I think, right after World War II, when people were working together and pretty much agreement on a social contract that the government wasn't just about the military, wasn't just about supporting capitalism, but was about taking care of people. And that period of time kind of ended with the 60s, which were pretty turbulent. And then Richard Nixon and so forth. But we've off and on had periods of time when people seem to have agreed that what we need to do is the government's job is to take care of people, all of us. We need to take care of each other. And it's a community.
Who's this?
This is Pia.
Hi, Pia. How old are we?
Pia is about 2.5.
2.5?
Yes.
Is this her first protest?
Probably not. She's my sister's dog, but this is her first protest here in Hanover that I know of. My mother is 90 years old and she lives here, and I believe this is her first protest. So we are all really, really proud of her, and the family wanted to make sure that we came out and supported her to be here doing this. And it's just been wonderful to see all the people here from the Greens, the independent living community, and a bunch of people from Kendall are here and protesting for what they believe in. So I think it's awesome. And
obviously, we're very upset with everyday news. What the latest thing that Trump is grabbing or taking insurance away from, or health insurance. Measles are all up. 600 cases of measles now, I think, in the country.
So what got you out today to do this one?
It certainly isn't the cold weather. It's cold and windy. I've been out earlier here for a while. I guess it's the people supporting the other people here with the Greens that are out, and people from all over town. You know, people from Kendall are here. I just like to do something to try to make a difference.
What would you like to see for the people of this country?
The two parties working together, not just making blind decisions and quick decisions that are going to affect so many people.
What brings you out here today?
To get rid of Trump. I think we've had enough of him, and I would love to see some kind of a change.
Yeah, what would you like to see specifically in this country?
Oh, gosh, there's so much that it's hard
We have the time.
to pick anything. I think we're in danger, and due to the government that is now in power.
Is this the first protest you've been to in your life? Is this the first protest you've been to in your life? Have been to others?
It is. I'm about 95 years old, and I've never been to a protest before, but I feel strongly about this one. So that's why I'm here.
What feels different right now that got you out here today for your first protest?
Just the way things are going. I don't like the idea of people forcing you what to do or not doing what you want the government to do, not being able to have a vote to sway things the way you feel they should be. I don't know, that doesn't make much sense, but in other words, I like democracy.
So I work in healthcare. So I take care of a lot of our seniors and have, of course, grandparents. But knowing that seniors need support, a voice is kind of what drew me out here today. And just in general, being in this Upper Valley situation and having a chance to finally make our voices heard. You know, when I showed up, and I saw all the seniors, and I say that with love and respect. There wasn't anybody my age. And I think that's one of the things that we need to be better about in the Upper Valley, where I don't get a day off often, where I have a full day to make my voice heard. But there was nothing inside me saying, here we are sleeting. There was nothing inside saying, stay home today, relax on the couch and watch some TV and do the laundry. It was, no, you're going to be out in the rain today, be prepared, and go out and make your voice heard, not only for yourself, but for everybody around and in the nation, really.
I would love to ask you, what power do you think the people have of this country?
So I'm still on that side of hope. I have a lot of fear, but I will say if we continue to stick together, make our voices heard, we have the ability to make change happen. And I think I just want to make sure people don't forget that. We have to use our voice for it to be heard. Don't be afraid.
And in the vein of the personal being political, what do you specifically identify as? You told me you came out. What do you identify as?
So my preferred pronouns are they, them, but I am actually accepting of all pronouns. Thanks for asking.
So how do you feel being a, can I say queer? Does
Queer,
that fit?
I love queer. It fits.
Being a non-binary?
Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
How do you feel being a queer, non-binary person in this country, and how that affects you, how that affects your queer and trans siblings?
Yeah, absolutely terrified. So I have for so long, and I think anybody that knows me will say, I've been so myself from such a young age, spreading love and kindness, and just feeling so good in my own skin. And I still feel that way. However, now when I fill out documents, I actually go, wait a second. Is there going to be a backlash? Is there going to be some sort of paper trail that says, wait a sec, this, they, them, go find them, go get rid of them? And that was a thought I had today, which I shouldn't have, is if I put too much on social media, are they going to figure out how to find me? Stating where I live, are they going to come and find me? It's a realization that we have to think about and walk on eggshells, and that's sad. It's sad. I feel silented. I feel like I don't exist, though I know I do. And again, going back to our voices, if we just continue to stick together, I think that we're going to feel more comfortable, maybe, but the fear is more real than it ever has been in my entire life.
What would you like to see from allies at this time?
That's great. I have a great support system. Just speak up for us. Speak up for yourself and whatever it is that you believe in, such as today, senior rights. But just speak up for us. Don't let us be disappeared, erased. Be there for us. Make noise on your social media, on my social media. Share my post, even if it's not one you wrote yourself. Share the post. Share. Make noise, because you have no idea who's going to see that and be affected.
I'm Katie Blood. How's it going?
Fabulous. What brought you out here today, Katie?
I'm here with my lovely grandmother here today. I just love to support her. She's fantastic. She's an excellent woman.
Amazing. Can I ask what your age is?
I am 20 years old.
Do you go to college? Do you live around here, work around here?
I live around here. I work at my parents' business, Blood's Catering.
Oh, I've seen them. I heard of them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah, they're all right.
What power do the people have?
Oh God, that's a tough question. The people have so much power. I feel like we're getting kind of afraid right now. We're all kind of cowering down and stuff. We're worried, but we gotta stand up. We gotta get out there. Don't be afraid to just stand up and get proud, and don't be afraid to stand up for what you believe in and get out there. If you believe in something, there's definitely other people that believe in that. Just find your group and go out there and stand up for it.
I want to do something besides vote. I mean, I vote, but I'm not usually an activist, but I wanted just to do something. So I'm here.
Do you think that people have to identify as activists to protest?
No. I was a little worried because, like I said, I'm not an activist, so I'm afraid of like peeking out of my little hole and like saying something, afraid of, what's going to happen. But this is peaceful, so, and my other emotions, I'm really happy to see the cars going by and beeping and waving, and that's really, like other people feel the same way,
Hold on, we have 3 generations here. Okay, so we have
Pat, 78.
And I'm Sarah, I'm 49.
And I'm Katie, and I'm 20.
and they're all related. Who are you representing?
I'm representing the Valley News in West Lebanon. And yeah, it's just really cool to come out here. Normally I cover theater and the arts, so it's cool to do something else and just like talk to people. And yeah, so one man told me he's like never protested in his life, and he's 78, and he was like, I'm coming out for this. So it was really cool to talk to him.
Yeah, can you just give us all the people that you talked to and all the things they said so we can get them too?
We'd love to copy off your work. Yeah.